As far as the film Emergency is concerned, Zee Entertainment Enterprises, Rishika, the co-makers of the film, has in fact moved the Bombay High Court seeking a direction to the CBFC to issue a certificate for the film. In fact, they've petitioned before the Bombay High Court seeking an official copy of film certification from the CBFC. Rishika, this film has been embroiled in all kinds of controversy. Earlier, of course, it was Madhya Pradesh High Court, in fact, giving certain directions after some Sikh organizations approached Madhya Pradesh High Court. Now, of course, the makers approaching the Bombay High Court seeking certificate for the film.
Well, absolutely. And Radhika, of course, you know more about what's really happening as far as this story is concerned. But, you know, Zee has essentially claimed that despite being informed of the film certification on August the 29th, the CBFC is yet to provide a formal copy of the certification. So that's really where the row is. They've, of course, filed a petition in the Bombay High Court alleging that the CBFC has illegally withheld the certification. So is this just a question of the fact that the certification has been granted but a formal copy has not been provided, or is there more that meets the eye? Radhika, I think that's the big question, but it's going to come up in the court today. And this film, before it's even released, like you're saying, is embroiled in so much controversy. Let's go across to Anuj joining us from Mumbai with the latest. Anuj, Zee is essentially seeking urgent relief from the court, saying that, you know, the certification has been granted in principle, but they don't have the parcha, so to speak, in their hand yet. Is that really the controversy here, or is there more that meets the eye?
See, what you stated here is the primary, is the base of all the controversies as far as the film is concerned. The Madhya Pradesh High Court was, in fact, according to several reports, informed by the CBFC yesterday about the status of the certification of the film. The CBFC said that the film is actually yet to be certified. And according to the Zee Studios, they've been provided with information regarding certification, but via a mail, that is via online methods, but then they haven't received a physical copy yet. And for them, it is a two-way thing. Firstly, it would cause them irreparable financial damages, is what they're saying. And secondly, it is a violation of the Cinematograph Act, which states that the certification should be provided in a prescribed format within 5 days after the submission of the film. After the film was submitted, of course, the CBFC did, convey the information regarding the certification of the film to the producers and those responsible from the Zee Studios, but a physical copy is yet to be given. And as a result of that, we can see that the Zee Studios has filed a plea in the Bombay High Court asking for an urgent release of the certification, which, according to them, has been withheld illegally by the CBFC. A two-judge bench will hear this case today afternoon in the Bombay High Court, which includes Justice Kolabawala and Justice Pooniwala. And the Zee Studios would be expecting something to go in their favor, because the original release date of the film was the 6th of September. But considering what communication has happened between the CBFC and the Madhya Pradesh High Court, it is highly unlikely that the film will be releasing on its original date, and that will definitely put the producers of the film under huge financial constraints. And that is the major crux of their argument, which they will be presenting in front of the Bombay High Court. The entire controversy began after several PILs were filed against the film in Madhya Pradesh and Punjab, especially by several Sikh communities, after the trailer of the film released, and the basis of their complaints was the inappropriate representation of the Sikhs in the film. Now, all these points will be considered. The communication done between the CBFC and the Madhya Pradesh High Court will also be considered before the Bombay High Court today afternoon.
That's right, Anuj. In fact, the plea alleging, Rishika, as we've been mentioning, that CBFC has illegally and arbitrarily withheld the certification. So, in a way, it states that the certification was granted. However, the physical part was not given to them. Yes. Now, this is one petition, of course, before the Bombay High Court. As far as Madhya Pradesh High Court is concerned, there are other directions given whereby it has asked the CBFC to consider the questions or objections raised by the parties there, raised by the petitioners there. So will that be a part of the argument today? That remains to be seen.
Yes.
But we believe, Anuj, this will come up for hearing at about 11 a.m. before a division bench of the Bombay High Court.
Yes, it'll come up at around 11 a.m. In the Bombay High Court, and as we've been saying since some time, the entire crux of this argument will be if the Bombay High Court gives some sort of relief to the Zee Studios and gives them a clearance for a release on the 6th of September, and if it is able to put any pressure on the CBFC, considering that although the information was provided according to the Zee Studios a few days ago, why hasn't a physical copy been provided to them yet? So the Cinematograph Act will also be considered amongst other things. And the financial constraints will also be taken into consideration by the Bombay High Court.
But what's interesting is that the Central Board of Film Certification had responded to the Madhya Pradesh High Court when that petition was filed, saying that, there are several factors that are still under consideration, and therefore, objections against the movie will be considered before clearing it. That, in a certain sense, Radhika, points to the fact that clearance is not a given. It remains to be seen today in the Bombay High Court what the Central Board of Film Certification has to say. Because remember, it is the makers of the film and Zee Entertainment that are claiming that, the clearance has been given in principle and we are yet to just get that formal sort of clearance for the film. But the CBFC in the MP High Court, in the Madhya Pradesh High Court, has very clearly said that, look, we are still to consider the objections. Clearance has not been given. So the key question today that is going to be answered is, has the film been cleared or not been cleared? Right, Radhika?
Absolutely. The key question is that whether the film has been cleared or not. And as you said, yes, while on the other one hand, you have the filmmakers saying the film has been cleared, it's just the physical copy that's not been given.
Yeah.
You're right. What the CBFC has said before the Madhya Pradesh High Court is that there is no clearance given.
Yes,
they are still
yes.
considering all the objections. So that is still under process. Yes, you're right. That will be clear before the Bombay High Court. And Anuj will keep bringing us
yes,
updates.
Of course. And
when the
Radhika,
starts.
the timing of this film also very interesting. Of course, you're closely looking at all the political moves and developments in Maharashtra ahead of the elections. There are state elections in at least 4 states that are due before the end of the year. And this is, a film that is based on the emergency. Presumably, it will be scathing against the Congress. So the timing of all of this and the politics of all of this is also something that we can't really ignore. We're going to keep a close watch on this story. Of course, Radhika will track it for us. So will Anuj.